and away from the windows and doors, and big rooms, smaller rooms will do you a little bit better in this kind of breaking or this kind of situation. So,
and what I'm going to do right now for a minute, Kelly, is I'm going to show you what's happening on Skynet. This is our camera right now from the Franklin area, and so this camera is at the Embassy Suites Hotel. It is right there at the Cool Springs Galleria. So you see how traffic is almost now at a standstill along I-65 at the Cool Springs Galleria there, and this is near that area where we've got a tornado warning. Right now we've got winds that are pushing up at about 100 miles per hour in some spots out there, and we've got hail in several other locations here. So this is a tornado warning. I'm going to bring you back, and again, that's a very good emphasis there on the rain that's moving through for us right now, and you can see some small things moving through the air at this particular point, and also just lightning that is showing up with this for us from time to time. But there is another look at radar for us now. Let me highlight the warning. So this is where we've got the storm warning right now. It's in southern Davidson County, for Wilson County, Rutherford County, Williamson County. But right now, the core of this is between Franklin and Brentwood right now, and dashing to the east in Kelly. These things have been racing big time this morning to the east here at around 60, 65 miles per hour. Winds with this particular one could be over 100 miles per hour. So this is a situation that you've got to take very seriously. So if you're down there, if your weather call just went off and you're tuning into us now, this is because of this tornado warning that was just issued moments ago.
Yeah, absolutely, Leland. We are watching this very closely. You know, over the last few minutes, a lot of the big picture has been improving, but on the micro scale where we all live and work, we're seeing this system, that this one segment of the storm system has really been increasing and kind of sucking some of the energy out of the system overall. And so I'm backing out here a little bit to look at it because I want you to know that this is impacting parts of southern Davidson County as well. Kind of in the Smyrna area, still lots of lightning stretching up to Brentwood, which is right on the Davidson-Williamson line, and then now just slightly to the east of the Franklin area. So this is going to be racing on towards areas like Smyrna, Almaville, eventually into Murfreesboro and Las Casas, and even southern and western parts of Wilson County. You need to go ahead and be prepping for this, adjusting your plans for the morning. I know it's a busy time of the morning. Kids are going to get off to school, people trying to get to work, but you need to just put that on pause right now and go ahead and think of safety first and get to your safe place, especially in this area, again, from around the Smyrna area back into Antioch, Brentwood, Franklin, and now what's out in the path of it, Nolensville, Smyrna, Almaville, and all of this. So coming in a little bit closer, you can see some of the very heavy downpours. There's some thunder and lightning with it, but straight line winds and also the possibility of this spawning a tornado are going to be possible. Now, we're working on ground confirmation. We don't have any of that yet, but of course, if our producers could be checking on some of that, that would be great. But right now, we're kind of looking at some of the twisting that we could possibly see in the atmosphere. Now, I'm going to switch back to that. This is the wind. We like to see this all in one color, and that means it's all going in the same direction. We've seen that most of the morning, but now we're starting to pick up on some differences. So I'm kind of seeing two areas of that. One is going to be here just south of Nolensville, where we're seeing a little bit of difference here, and this is heading towards 31A, just south of the town of Nolensville, that we're seeing some of this, and that's going to continue to move forward in time. That is the piece that we're watching right now. Put a little storm track, and you can see that it's headed towards the Rocky Fork area in just the next few minutes. So I want to now move a little bit further to the south of that and also show you this area where we're seeing just the potential of a little bit of twist right in the Paytonsville area. Again, that moving forward, we could start to see some twisting in the atmosphere. So it's not just one little couplet, but we're also watching this Paytonsville area and just around the Harpeth area where we could see a little bit of twist, enough when you've got this much wind in the atmosphere for that to start to rotate a little bit, and then it could eventually spawn a tornado, and we want our warnings to be out ahead of that. So go ahead in all of this area. We want you to take cover now as this is moving just about due east. So here's another few of the communities that are going to be in with that. Leland?
All right, so right now, as you've come to me, they're telling me 1-inch hail being reported down in the Franklin area. I'm sorry if they'll say that to me one more time. They're speaking to... All right, so right now, possibly reported a touchdown in Cool Springs, and this is our camera from Cool Springs right now. I'm going to hold on to this for just a second. And one of the things I'm going to point out is that this tornado warning was issued at 7:08. It was issued when there was the possible tornado rotation being picked up on radar around the Cool Springs Galleria. This camera is just on the other side of the Galleria right now, and you can see that rain is still coming down big time for us now. And because of that, traffic is almost, it looks like, at a standstill there. That's I-65 moving northward into Nashville for us now. This plays on a loop, so now we've got the latest frame coming in to us here at this particular point. So the heaviest of that rain has now made its way east of the area, but you saw moments ago just how heavy that rainfall was. So I want to show you this area right in through here, and you see where we've got different colors picking up here, where you've got all of this red, and then right through there it shows kind of in shades of green. This where it may be where there may be a bit of rotation for us this morning. This was earlier back over around there, the Cool Springs Galleria area. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to replay this for you. This storm cell is in the process now of racing here to the east, right around 70 miles per hour. These storms have been racing all morning long, but this one racing even faster at this point. So I'm going to go back and put a storm path here on the leading edge of this storm for you right now. And again, racing east here at about 65 to 70 miles per hour. So right now those storms continue to race east. Walter Hill, Las Casas, Milton, Watertown are some of the communities that are in danger at this point. Again, we've had a couple of reports of a tornado on the ground. I know this was initially put out as a radar indicated tornado, but some of the folks who are in traffic down there and stuck are sending in reports that there may have been a tornado, or at least possible sighting of one in the Cool Springs Galleria area. It officially went into effect at 7:08 and will remain in effect until 7:30. But there is a look at the wind. Here is a look at the wind velocity with this. And again, we'll bring this in for you right now and show you where you've got kind of this little different shading here. I'm going to put a box on this so you've got a little better understanding of what we're talking about. So right in through here is that area where there may be a little bit of rotation. So this is really on the Davidson County, Williamson County line right now, moving east. So Smyrna, be on the lookout. This is pushing your way. That means those of you in Rutherford County, north half of Rutherford County, Wilson County on the lookout as well. We'll put the warning map back on and show you all of the counties that are impacted by this. There are a host of counties under a warning now. Davidson County, Wilson County, Rutherford County, and Williamson County there under this tornado warning now here until 7:30. And Kelly, again, you're seeing a little bit of rotation as well on the on your radar system.
Yeah, I'm trying to take a look at a couple of different things where there's a couple of different wind products that we're trying to look at here. This is the one that Leland was talking about that's near the Nolensville area, certainly indicating that we do have, you know, that wind not perfectly flowing in and out of the radar sites like we want to see. We are starting to see the possibility of some twist here. This is what has moved out of sort of the Cool Springs, Franklin area, and now is moving towards Nolensville and the Laverne area, and that's where we could see some of that wind as well. So what we're seeing right now is also towards the Triune area, some possible spin as well. We're looking at another wind product here that kind of zeroes in on with a little more fine tuning around the Triune area and the Rocky Fork area as well. We're watching that, and again, it's going to keep moving to the east. So if you're out ahead of this into Smyrna, Walter Hill, Mount Olive, please take care. I'm going to switch back real quickly and show you what's on. Now we're looking at radar. So this is the rain. This is what you're typically used to seeing, what we show you a lot. And again, the Nolensville area really looks to be under the gun with the heavy rain as well, showing where the storm system is moving through, and things are going to lighten up now in the next few minutes for the Franklin area. But if you're out ahead of this, anywhere to the east of Nolensville, that's towards Smyrna, now getting more into Rutherford County, and even, you know, here on the southern edge of Davidson and Wilson, please take care and go ahead and get to your safe place. Leland now has just been handed some storm reports. Leland, what's the latest?
Yeah, so right now, again, we hit on this a moment ago. We've got a hinge hail being reported down in the Franklin area. The possibility of at least a tornado reported in the Cool Springs area. And again, the radar indicated one around the Cool Springs Galleria at 7:08. So that's when this warning first went in effect. It's in effect now until 7:30. In addition to that, there have also been reports of a little little, or at least some sightings here from Spencer Creek Road, and also down around Fieldstone Road, that's in Fieldstone Farms, and the Mac-Hatcher Parkway. So there's at least a couple of places where there have been some sightings this morning. A little earlier, we showed you just how much the rain was coming down. Good news is things look to be returning to normal right now in this area at the Cool Springs Galleria, where the rain was racing this morning a few minutes ago. Because of how fast this storm is moving, right now we've got just a little sliver of Williamson County that remains under a severe thunderstorm warning and a tornado warning, and the other counties that are now impacted include Rutherford County, Wilson County, and the eastern area here of Davidson County. So that's what we're keeping an eye out on. If you are in these counties that you see highlighted, you need to take cover right now, because there's at least the possibility that there may be damaging storm winds within this cell here. So from Smyrna to Las Casas, back over into Wilson County along Tennessee 840, from Rutherford County into Wilson County, you need to be taking cover at this moment. In addition to that, there are also a host of other counties that have a severe thunderstorm warning now, from Sumner County, Robertson County, a good chunk of Wilson County also under a severe thunderstorm warning, and those warnings also extend into Glasgow, Franklin, Kentucky, Fountain Run, and Columbia, Kentucky. So this is a situation that we're going to at least need to keep an eye out on over the next hour or two until this thing continues to race on off toward the east. We'll pick up and see what we're seeing on wind shear, where some of the strongest winds right now are along the Davidson County line with Sumner County moving in where we were talking about a moment ago in the Rutherford County area, Davidson County, along I-24. For those folks along I-24 right now, let's say between Haywood Lane and Bell Road, there's some strong winds moving across that area now, and moving 41 would be Murfreesboro Road. So people who are in the southern part of Davidson County on Murfreesboro Road, there's strong winds getting ready to cross that intersection there as we speak.
Yes, absolutely, Leland. And there's a look at downtown with the rain coming down into the Nashville area. Right now, we are seeing, though, the biggest threat just south of Nashville, as Leland was telling you about. And we're really starting to see this now cross into the Smyrna area. So folks in Rutherford County, please be going to your safe places now. We only have about 9 minutes left on this warning. And right now, we're kind of seeing it go from little pockets of possible rotation, spreading out to a little bit more of a linear signature. That means a straight line, and that's better. That could mean that we're getting back more towards straight line winds. And again, we don't have anything confirmed as far as tornadoes. We have a report of that, but many times we see wall clouds and low clouds and funnel clouds. Very hard for somebody that's not a trained spotter to really know the difference. So we'll work on getting confirmation on that near the Cool Springs area. But what we're seeing now is definitely worthy of going ahead and getting to your safe place. So this is from around the Smyrna area down to the Almaville area. And if you take this out in time now, looking at the next 30 minutes or so where this is headed, we're going to be talking about the areas of Compton by 7:36, Las Casas by 7:38, and into the Milton area by 7:45. All of this is very close to the Murfreesboro area, so I would go ahead and get into your safe place, as well as some southern parts of Wilson County as well. So this is affecting a lot of folks this morning. Please be advised of that and go ahead and take precautions. Now, I'm going to back this view out a little bit to go ahead and orientate you a little bit. We're looking at winds right now, not rain, and this is just the part that's kind of a little bit concerning here. Again, that was just near the Nolensville area, but we're hoping that this is turning a little bit more back into a straight line wind scenario. Right now, it does look like kind of the leading edge near that Almaville to Smyrna area is still a little bit concerning. But switching you back now to look at radar, just to kind of reorient you, this is what we show you a lot. This is your rain that's coming down. The lightning is superimposed on top of it. And so we're seeing this moving out more of the Franklin area and now moving again towards the Smyrna, Rutherford County area, but also still into now eastern parts of Williamson County and western parts of Wilson County. I'm going to go back and check on the warnings a little bit just for a moment to show you again that we still have severe thunderstorm warnings for our southern Kentucky areas and for areas around Davidson County up to the north. We're talking about Sumner County, Wilson County, parts of Robertson County still under severe thunderstorm warnings, as well as much of the Williamson County area. But it's really the northern half of Rutherford County and southern and eastern parts of Wilson County, along with the tail end there of Davidson County, that are still going to be under the gun for the next few minutes. We hope after 7:30 that we can say we're all back to severe thunderstorms again and no more spin-up possibility, but we needed to warn you of that just for the meantime. So again, we're watching. Let me take you out to the bigger view again to just show you that this storm system is still impacting a lot of people, even though you may not be under the tornado warning portion. Still lots of severe thunderstorm warnings, and the big picture shows that the watch is still in effect through 10 a.m. as this marches quickly to the east. And quickly, we are talking really quickly. We're talking about 65 miles per hour. Really, in a storm system, you can't drive much further than that. So typically, you can outrun these in a car, but this is the kind of thing you can't, even if you're really on I-40. It'd be difficult to outpace this system. So we'll take you from the Smyrna area and then just project this out for the next 40 minutes or so, and you're seeing where the core of this system is going, but it is kind of a wide system. So this is just the core that we were watching for the tornado warning, and this is areas like, again, Walter Hill, Las Casas, Cottage Home, but I would not underestimate this. If you're in the Murfreesboro area, you still need to go ahead and take cover.
All right, I do want to point out that I've gotten a note here from our friends over the National Weather Service, and they said there's been a little bit of tightening with this storm, so there's the possibility that this storm may have a touchdown with it. Nothing confirmed just yet, but there's tightening with this, so there's a good chance that this warning that is now out until 7:30 could be extended a bit more. I do have a couple of reports here of roof damage in the Cool Springs area. Also seeing a report now of trees across Moore's Lane. So trees across Moore's Lane right now, and some reports of structural damage coming out of Turner Lane. Also from the south side of town, some reports of at least a funnel cloud along the Pettish Road area on the south side of Nashville. So this is a look at that storm cell. It has been racing eastward here. There is a look at it right now from part of Smyrna, and you've got two areas here. You've got this area down around Smyrna. You've got the other area here that was around Franklin and the Cool Springs Galleria that right now is on the Rutherford County line with the Wilson County for us now. That's near Gladeville and along Tennessee 840. I'm going to pull this out, and I'm going to put a storm path here on the leading edge of it. These storms have been racing around 60, 65 miles per hour at times this morning. This one now up to around 70, 75 miles per hour as far as the speed with this system moving off toward the east. So Lebanon bearing down as we speak right now from the Watertown area at about 7:43 in the Carthage area just before 8 o'clock. So again, if you're in this region, we've got the tornado warning that is out now for the moment out until 7:30, but we'll continue to watch to see if it may be extended a bit longer in parts of Rutherford County and in parts of Wilson County. Go back to you. I'm going to see if I can call up our Lebanon camera here in just a second, Kelly, but we'll toss back to you for what's happening with radar in that region right now.
Yeah, we're still watching this to be the strongest areas of possible rotation, yes, but also straight line wind damage that is happening widespread. So we're seeing this now from southern Wilson County, just south of the Lebanon area, through the Smyrna area into areas like Las Casas, just north of Murfreesboro. And then the tail end of this is stretching towards the Almaville area. And that's important because that is the part that's going to translate into Murfreesboro in the next few minutes. So we're not seeing quite as much spin there, but still some very, very strong straight line winds, some very heavy downpours, and some thunder and lightning heading towards the Murfreesboro area right now. And we're seeing it probably a little bit more aimed at the Las Casas, Auburntown, Watertown areas, but still we're watching that very, very closely, for this is the worst of the storm. Going to back the picture out and show you what's happening. If you live in a different area, want to go ahead and cover you as well, because we're still seeing lots of very heavy lightning in our Kentucky counties. This is moving just out of Bowling Green area, now back to the Glasgow area, into Scottsville. Lots of lightning, heavy downpours, straight line winds, all of that still coming in our Kentucky counties and and down into the Portland area now. So this is translating from Portland, and it's going to be moving towards Lafayette and the Castellan Springs over the next few minutes. And now what was in the Davidson County area is heading into Lebanon right now, the Watertown area, and then just south of Lebanon it gets much more serious with, again, the possibility of some rotation south of Lebanon through Smyrna and into even the Eagleville area. Now, south of that, it does lose a lot of its organization, and it is a little better story this morning from Columbia down to the south. We're not seeing as many storms into areas, our southern counties, so that is good news. Columbia, you're kind of right on the edge of it. You're getting some thunderstorms, but they're not the strong stuff that is, boy, just barely to the north of you from Bethesda up again into the Smyrna area. So just looking at the radar signature here, it's tough to pick out any, really strong signatures of rotation, but you can see again from Smyrna that 840 corridor that is right here from just south of Lebanon through Smyrna and now pushing down towards Murfreesboro and Las Casas. We can definitely see some strong winds behind it because it's really blowing out pretty quickly. But now we're kind of coming back here to look at the wind. So what you've got is the position of the Nashville radar here. The red is blowing away from the radar, green is blowing toward the radar. But when you see kind of a little red intruding on the areas that should be green, that's when you get concerned. Same thing with the green intruding on the red, and we have got some of that. We're in this area of, I think we're going to extend this, so please, we're just going to keep staying with us here. So we're seeing some of this into the areas that would normally be red around Jefferson Springs. Again, that is just east of Smyrna, where you're seeing some of those greens. That can mean rotation or winds moving in a funny, unexpected area because it's trying to turn or spin. So this is in the Vesta area, Silver Hill, Walter Hill, Jefferson Springs, right along 840, just to the east of Smyrna. These are the areas I would be concerned with. And of course, moving due east. So if you leave east of this, we're showing some of these areas like Hurricane and the Canesville area, also Las Casas, Milton, Browns Mill, these areas. Please, this is right in the path of this, so please use caution as this progresses on to the east, just north of Murfreesboro. We'll have more about this in just a moment. Leland has got the latest check.
All right, so do want to update you now that we've got a brand new tornado warning. We talked about the fact that there was tightening being seen with this on radar, so this tornado warning is now being extended into Williamson County. So Davidson County, Williamson County in the clear, most of Rutherford County in the clear, at least as far as this tornado warning is concerned right now. This warning was about 9 miles south of the Lebanon area, not too far from Rural Hill this morning, and in the process of moving to the east here, east-northeast at about 65 miles per hour. So let's bring you in a little closer right now and show you the showers that are moving through. Still rain here in Nashville, but there is the front end of this. Also see a little bit of what looks like maybe a hook on the tail end of this. So something that we're watching very carefully as this storm cell continues now to move in to Wilson County. It's almost like right now on the Wilson County line with Rutherford County. There have been some reports of at least a little bit of damage. So a moment ago that there was reports of structural damage, or at least damage to a door at the Cool Springs Lexus that's just on the other side of I-65 from the Cool Springs Galleria. And that's where the storm was first reported at just after 7 o'clock, specifically at about 7:08 when it was reported there. But there you watch the showers now. So for those folks along 840, not too far from the old racetrack that they built out in Gladeville, there's some pretty heavy rain in the process of moving through this region for us now. So right in through here, where we're keeping an eye out on where there are different colors. That means you've got winds moving toward radar in one direction, and then the red moving away from radar. So where we're seeing this, you've got little areas right in through here, another little area right in there. So these are a couple of trouble spots for us this morning as this storm cell continues to move now into Wilson County. So right now, Watertown here looks like your way at about 747, Alexandria at around 753, Gordonsville 801, and we may play with these times, adjust these times just a bit because of this storm speeding up, slowing down just a bit. So right now it's between about 65 and 70 miles per hour. Smithville should it hold together back Baxter is back over in the Putnam County. So Baxter, your problems would be right after the 8 o'clock hour. But it's this region right in through here that is our main concern now on the Rutherford County line, Wilson County line, with this storm continuing to be picked up on radar just about 9 miles south of the Lebanon area. So for Lebanon proper, it looks like the issue is just south of you in the southern part of the area, almost here. There's Interstate 40 there from Lebanon back over into Mount Juliet. So here we go along Tennessee 840. That would take you from Lebanon or just to the west of Lebanon down through Glade Springs. For folks, if I remember correctly, if you're at Wilson Central High, Wilson Central High is along Tennessee 840. It looks like most of this may be just to your south, but you need to watch this very carefully here for those of you at Wilson Central High, just south of the Lebanon area and located on Tennessee 840. So there are the showers and storms, Watertown there, and the historic downtown area coming your way here just before 8 o'clock. So this storm cell now, the warning is now officially over with as far as the tornado warning for Davidson County. It is Wilson County and Rutherford County that are now under a tornado warning until just after 8 o'clock. So we'll go back to Kelly. She's following a few other things for you right now, and I'll get another update on any more storm reports that have come in. But it's right in through here, Wilson County, Rutherford County line. That's our primary area of concern right now, and that tornado warning out through here until 8 o'clock. Kelly?
Yes, absolutely, Leland. Well, I am watching the same thing that you are looking at right now, just a little bit of a closer view of what we're looking at. So here is Lebanon. That's what you're seeing up here in the northern part of the screen. And then this is stretching down towards Watertown. And you can clearly see this green mass of wind that is blowing in a different direction than the red mass. Well, all that can mean is that it could possibly start to rotate. So this is what we would call a broad rotation that we're clearly seeing here. But these can easily tighten up and go to a tighter rotation that could then spawn a thunderstorm. So what we're looking at is kind of the Watertown area into the Auburntown area as well. And then this is going to track east northeast. So that's the difference now, tracking a little bit more northeast. And that's why we're saying the focus shift a bit more into Wilson County versus Rutherford County, because it is again taken on that slightly more northern track to take it into the Watertown area right now. On the south end of this broad rotation is where we would typically look to see the possibility of a tighter rotation. And you may be seeing that near the Canesville area. That is, again, just south of Watertown. But Watertown, you're near the broad rotation. So all of these areas need to go ahead and get to your safe place. Make your way to the lowest level of your home. A small interior room free of windows is always the best bet. And again, that's in this southern part of Wilson County. Also want to mention that this is going to be heading soon towards the southern part of Smith County, maybe far western parts of DeKalb County as this moves forward in time. And as Leland has been talking about, such a fast moving system that you don't have a lot of time. It will move through those areas very quickly. Switching back to radar now, just to show you what we are talking about, where we're talking about in a more traditional way that you're used to seeing with the rain. And boy, through the Las Casas area, still some very heavy rain. This thunderstorm portion of this needs to be taken seriously from Rutherford through Las Casas as well. But the winds as far as rotation are more towards Watertown. But this is a very strong storm segment here into the Las Casas area through Watertown as well. All of that just to the south of Lebanon. But I do want to go back, though, for our viewers that are saying, what's happening in my backyard? Well, we still have some strong storms that are out there, and we're still under a tornado watch for the entire area through 10 a.m. Bowling Green, Glasgow, boy, lots of thunder and lightning here in our southern Kentucky counties. Not seeing rotation yet, but that doesn't mean you don't have strong straight line winds that could be damaging through the Scottsville area as well. That's going to keep moving towards Tompkinsville over the next 15 minutes. It's a fast mover, so it'll be into Tompkinsville pretty quickly, moving at 65 miles per hour. Also, we've got the storm along 231 here from Scottsville down now into Tennessee, moving into Lafayette soon, and the Castellian Springs area. That just bounced back. Sorry about that. That bounced back to the wind profiles. It keeps kind of switching back on me. But again, the worst of it through the Lebanon area and as Leland is doing the clicker, I think it's doing my computer over here. So we're going to continue to see this through the Lebanon area and Watertown, and then down through Murfreesboro, obviously very close to you with some stronger storms. On the south side of this, we are seeing the story's a little bit better when you get south of Columbia, less of a threat, but from Columbia up to Murfreesboro, we're still watching some strong storms. Now we'll take you back in again to the wind that we are watching that again is near the Watertown area. This is where we have the possibility of some rotation, and I'm starting to see some brighter colors here just south of Watertown into the Statesville area. Again, broad rotation near Watertown, but along the Statesville area, this is very close to the Rutherford County line, but in southern Wilson County, sometimes these brighter colors, they mean stronger winds. So we're going to watch this to move to the north and northeast. And Leland, is this the system that you are tracking as well?
Yeah, keeping an eye on this because this is the one that prompted the warning down around the Williamson County area. Steve just showed me a note from the Franklin Police Department saying that there may have been some structural damage to a bank in the Cool Springs area for us right now. Do show that the winds that Kelly was talking about aren't as tight as they were, but still some strong winds right now at around 70 miles per hour. A couple of other reports that have come in right now, and one of the things I'm seeing, and for our newsroom folks to check on as well, several homes being reported damage in the Somerset neighborhood of Williamson County. So again, this one coming in from the Somerset area of Williamson County, showing that there are lots of trees down through there and that there may have been some homes that may have been damaged in that area. So we'll keep an eye on that. But this thing racing right now. So Davidson County, you are in better shape as far as this warning is concerned. I did see a report earlier, I think from Belle Meade, that there may have actually been a car that was reported flipped over in the Belle Meade area. So that's the storm cell moving through. We've got the tornado warning right now out until 8 o'clock for Wilson County and for parts of the Smith County area. This is the leading edge of this. Until this warning was issued at 7 o'clock, there had not been a warning for tornadoes with this until just after 4 o'clock when these storms moved into West Tennessee around Dyersburg, Union City, and back over around the Covington area. But just enough of a spin being picked up here, so it's right in through here. You can kind of see a little bit of this show up on radar. So if you're in Watertown right now, take cover. Make sure that you are in your safe place here at this particular time. The line continuing back into Rutherford County down around the Las Casas area for us this morning. Let me show you a radar rotation. And again, the rotation is a little bit broader now, meaning that what we're seeing here are winds kind of moving in different directions, but still you've got some strong winds with this at about 70 miles per hour and moving to the east. So those of you in the counties next to this, you've got DeKalb County and you've got Smith County. So this is DeKalb County and Liberty. This is DeKalb County right in through here. We mentioned Gordonsville a bit earlier. You need to keep an eye on this storm. If you are in Watertown, take cover right now. This storm is bearing down on you. It's racing east. It's been fluctuating between 65 and 70, but these things have been racing at the speed of traffic on the interstate for you this morning. Right now, it's around 65 miles per hour. So those of you in Gordonsville, Buffalo Valley, should it hold together, Baxter puts it into Putnam County there. If you're headed on I-40 and start to make that way up the ridge there just past the way station and the rest station, that's where you'll find Baxter. Cookeville is 818. So we're keeping an eye right in through here. Again, there have been reports of damage with this as it continues to move along. The warning has been shortened here just a bit. So right now we've got the Carthage area right in through here, Smith County, Wilson County here, and along Tennessee, along I-40. That's the big area of concern right now. So from Watertown and where Wilson County, DeKalb County and Smith counties all come together. That's our major area of concern for us now. There are the showers and storms continuing to pull on off toward the east. In its wake, there have been a host of damage reports. You see there at the bottom of the screen, we've had a host of trees being reported down. I mentioned the Somerset neighborhood down in Williamson County, another area too, where they have had some trees down and several homes that have been reported down that way. And Kelly, you also continue to assess what's happening and what's coming out of the Cool Springs area. Several reports coming in from a bank, a little bit of damage being reported over at Cool Springs, Lexus down that way. So that's one of the focal points that we'll keep an eye on here for the next little bit. But right now, our big concern would be right through here. This is the Carthage area. That's Smith County. That is Wilson County. So this is being chopped off. So that's Tennessee 840. So if you're along Tennessee 840, Wilson, Central High School, Gladeville, Tennessee, where that racetrack, that super racetrack that's now closed, but where it was built, you appear to be in the clear right now. It's along 840, or Tennessee 40, right in through here. Right as you come out of Wilson County back over into the Carthage area, there is the big region of concern. I know you've just got a brand new report there, so we'll head back over to Kelly.
Yeah, I wanted to show you this, what's going on, give you a quick storm path, that same system that Leland was talking about. Just wanted to show you the path of this, that it's heading towards Alexandria, the Liberty area, Dowtown, Buffalo Valley over the next few minutes as it continues to move to the east, northeast, again, 65 miles per hour, and it is racing. But also, Alexandria is at SunTrust on Cool Springs Boulevard, where there is some severe weather damage. Again, this is the SunTrust Bank on Cool Springs Boulevard that we are looking at with the possibility of a tornado damage. This could be straight line winds. The National Weather Service will have to make that determination. But look at this. That's the drive-through lanes. And for a lot of us, we know where this is. I have been personally to this bank before, and this is a lot of damage in a very populated, well-traveled area where lots of people would have been in this vicinity this time of the morning as the morning's getting going. Do we have Alexandria now to talk us through what she's saying?
I think that may be her getting some information there that we see in the COTA right now. But again, very populated area. The other thing, too, is with this hitting it at 7:08, it was coming in when there were a ton of folks on the interstate at that particular point. Right now, the core of this storm is around Watertown, but Alexandria, there you see there, bearing down on you as we speak. Kelly, the rotation is a bit more broad, not as tight as it was, but we can't put the guards down just yet if you're in the eastern part of Wilson County, and really here, Wilson County, DeKalb County, the Smith County line. Liberty is DeKalb County. Gordonsville is back over in the Smith County area. A lot of folks know Gordonsville and Carthage because that's a popular rest stop to pick up some food on a trip between here and Knoxville.
Yeah, and that's importantly then for folks that are on the road. I know a lot of I-40 travelers. This is not very far from you. If you're thinking about hitting the road onto I-40, I would be cautious of that. But yes, it certainly is. And we're also saying, you know, folks that are traveling here, the 53 corridor, Highway 70, boy, this is bearing right down on you near the Alexandria area now. And you've just seen the kind of damage that it did in the Cool Springs area. So please be aware that could happen again. When you're looking at a line of thunderstorms like this, you could see a tornado spin up out of this very quickly. You don't have time to really wait until that happens to go ahead and take cover and start heeding the safety warnings. You have to do it back when it's a severe thunderstorm and go ahead and be in that safe place at that time. But again, we are looking and really focusing on the Watertown area. Big picture again, just so that you don't lose orientation. For those of you that may not know exactly where Watertown is, well, that is really just kind of a little south of the Lebanon area, and now it's starting to track east of that. So big picture, still a lot of storms going on in our Kentucky counties. Heavy rain, lightning, strong winds. Just because you're not under the tornado warning doesn't mean that this is not a strong system and could turn tornadic pretty quickly. Most of this is now just to the north of Murfreesboro. We'll take in again where we're seeing the problems. If you know where Carthage is, it's just south of the Carthage area as well, and about from I-40 down to the south, mostly south of I-40. Now heading into the Liberty area out of Watertown, we're seeing some of this. Again, we're zooming here on the strongest section, mainly south of Lebanon and heading towards Buffalo Valley and into the Smithville area as well. Smithville, you're going to start to pick up on at least the southern end of this system as it heads to the east. But areas like Buffalo Valley, you're going to be a bit more under the gun of this as far as the possibility of rotation going along with that. I'm going to take you back to the watches and warnings again. that we were looking at earlier. Still, most of Middle Tennessee under the watch until 10 a.m. That goes for our southern Kentucky counties as well. You can see that really this is affecting a lot of southern Kentucky with the severe thunderstorms. Areas like Temple Hill, Burkesville, the Grayville area, Monticello, Somerset, and then Middle Tennessee, more of a straight line with this down from the Hermitage Springs area all the way through Murfreesboro. But again, the tornado warning is now for eastern parts of Wilson County and a lot of the Smith County area as well. So a smaller county there, it's encompassing most of Smith County all the way down to Buffalo Valley, and that's going to be in effect for another 13 minutes until we hit the 8 o'clock hour, because this is again right where we do expect to see these thunderstorms the worst. We're going to turn this into 3D and show you what's going on with these storms, because you can see the higher tops here mean that it is a little bit higher into the atmosphere as far as where the storms are reaching right in this area. And when you see this, you know that you've got colder air aloft that can come into these. Your storms are just a little bit more intense. They're going higher and kind of spreading all that upper level dynamics to the ground. You can get a lot of very strong straight line winds coming out of this because they're coming from a very high height in the atmosphere and then translating back down to the ground. So again, we're just looking here in 3D to show you where this is. And boy, you can see it really lining up with your 2D radar right here on the ground, about to head into the Liberty area. And this is right out ahead of what we were seeing in Buffalo Valley, just to show you where we are. Carthage, Granville area, Baxter, Silver Point, and the Smithville area as well. So just wanted to show you what's happening way above your heads can really translate to what you have to live through there on the ground. And boy, it is a lot of the possibility of some straight line damaging winds right there through the Auburntown area as well, now into Liberty and Watertown as well. I'm going to take a quick peek at wind shear just to show you. This is kind of the history of the wind, but when you get wind shear, we find that whenever there's a long track tornado, there's almost always a history of this wind shear with it. We're seeing that in Watertown. Thankfully, it has not been progressing as the storm has gone along in the last few minutes towards Liberty and Auburntown, but right there just north of Auburntown, you could see some of that wind shear product that we're going to watch pretty closely for you. Turn it back over to radar and you can see a little update of where it is now, more towards the Liberty and Auburntown area. I think, Leland, you've got some more information for us now.
Yeah, been getting reports of where we're seeing damage right now, and it looks like the live shot that we had from the SunTrust Bank in the Cool Springs area, that appears to be one of the focal points for some of the damage. So we're going to go back to that area right now, and this is our live view unit. This is Live Drive that you normally see Alexandra Cohen in during the morning news. But there you see a little bit of the damage showing up now at the SunTrust Bank down in the Cool Springs area, Cool Springs Boulevard in Franklin. I'm seeing several more reports coming in from that region. And as I do, we're going to come back here, and I'm seeing brand new reports, tornado warning on the way for Macon County, Clay County. So they are about to issue a tornado warning for Macon County and Clay County. And the reason for that is the circulation with this appears to be tightening back up again. Macon County, Clay County, you're now under a situation where you need to keep an eye to the sky. Here is the storm right now making its way from parts of Wilson County, and then we'll pull this out for you just a bit, and you see some of those showers and storms now. Buffalo Valley back up toward Granville, and then into parts of DeKalb County and the Smithville area. Here's another look at those showers and storms as they continue now to move on off toward the east, and again, it looks like brand new tornado warnings are about to come out for Macon County. So Macon County would be right there. You've got Clay County there as well. So let's pull this in for you a bit. This was over Watertown a little while ago. It started to weaken, or at least, I won't say weaken, but to maybe the rotation wasn't as tight on it. And it looks like that's tightening up for us just a bit again. Here we go from the Sykes community. There's Gordonsville there. So again, I-40 Gordonsville. Some of you use that as a rest stop on your way from Nashville over to the Knoxville area. There is Alexandria there, so that is just inside of DeKalb County there. So we'll bring this in a little closer, identify a few of the streets here. West Potter Lane, you've got Walker Creek, and the Sites community are a couple of areas that need to be watching what's happening with this particular storm cell for us now. We'll pull this out, put a storm path on it, and there you see the cell now from Baxter to Cookeville to Rickman that we're watching. In addition to that, there is now a storm warning on the north side of this. So we've got the one now for Wilson County and for the Smithville area and DeKalb County. I'm going to slide this up just a bit to get this warning in now for Macon County and Clay County. So that is a brand new tornado warning out for Clay County and for Macon County here. So it looks like one being reported right around Lafayette for us at this particular time, and you can see a little bit of rotation right there. So this is our area of concern right there from just say we'll go east northeast of Lafayette for us right now, just a little north there of the Sycamore Valley area. Let's identify a couple of these roads if you're through here this morning. Right now, this is if you're at Alston Road, if you're on Frog Pond Cemetery Road. And sometimes you've got to smile at some of these small town road names here. Coley Town Road is another one, but look right there. So just so you see where we've got a bit of rotation, it's this area here that is our concern right now as this storm is in the process of moving east-northeast. And because of this, we've got a tornado warning now that is out for this area for about another half hour. Tornado warning also just being issued for DeKalb County and Putnam County until 8:15. Radar indicated tornado. So I'll show you that in a second. But notice the movement here. These storm cells have been racing eastward a bit. So I'm going to bring this in just a bit, give you a brand new storm path on this. So let's pull this out for you just a second there. And just north there of Sycamore Valley, you've got another area there near the Galen community. So put a storm path on both of these because they're areas to be watched right now. Red Boiling Springs, Walnut Shade, Hermitage Springs, Miles Crossroads are a couple of areas that need to be keeping an eye on what's happening. Let's also identify the brand new tornado warnings that have just come out for DeKalb County and for the Putnam County area. Let's pull this out for you just a bit. So there are now a host of tornado warnings. They're all east of Nashville. So things are better now, clearing out for the Nashville area. For Williamson County, it's these locations east of Nashville from Wilson County, Smith County line, northern part of DeKalb County, back over around Buffalo Valley. Baxter, we've talked about Baxter a couple of times now. We said if this storm holds together, it may be pushing your way. Well, right now it looks like that's happening, and the Baxter community now under a tornado warning. Cookeville, at the moment, the warning ends just to the west of you, but we're going to watch this. For anybody that's along I-40 or trying to get on I-40 in this area in red, if you're able to put off that commute right now or put off travel, because this is a situation where, based on what we have seen in the past, Kelly, could be some damage through here, again, based on what happened in parts of Davidson County and back over into the Williamson County area.
Absolutely. When you start to get confirmation like this, that this storm system has spawned a tornado, you really have to look at that seriously and see how quickly that can go from just looking like straight line winds to starting to rotate and then spawning a tornado. And of course, we don't have confirmation that it was 100% sure tornado that hit the Cool Springs area, but it does look like that type of damage. And we are seeing the damage there being so severe that even if it was straight line winds, it's still something that you've got to take very, very seriously. From the Tompkinsville area through Lafayette, we're watching the storm segment. Again, this is the one where we have, again, that warning that is in effect now until 8:15 for the Lafayette area and moving forward. So again, take that very seriously. And this is what we're watching on radar from Lafayette to the Hermitage Springs area. Also some strong storms there near Tompkinsville stretching back down into this area. But as you move further away from, as you move in time further away from the radar site, it gets a little more difficult to spot some of that rotation and some of that kind of perfect signature because you're looking higher and higher in the atmosphere. But you look here at the winds that are moving with this, and you can see now it's just a little bit to the north and east of the Lafayette area where we're likely seeing this little system that is responsible for this warning here. Just in the next 20 minutes, it moves through the Walnut Shade area and then on to Hermitage Springs at about 8:02 into the Boyles area, Moss area by 8:12 as we go through time. So this is the one that we're watching the most closely. But there's a lot of areas where we're seeing some kind of broad twisting that could be possible with the winds. So we have to watch all of that pretty closely. Going back down now here into the area to the south that we were watching, and just to get a quick check on what's happening with the velocity down here or the winds near Watertown, it looks to me like we still have some broad scale rotation here back near the Watertown area, but a little further to the east of that as well, where we're seeing some of the greens and the reds kind of coming together. A little bit of wrapping. It's probably just some kind of storm inflow that we're seeing here, but we'll watch this kind of Alexandria area still pretty closely. Now let's switch back over to looking at your radar picture. I'm going to back this out again to show you what's going on the big scale, because now we've seen two different segments of this line get tornado warnings. One right on the Tennessee-Kentucky line that we're talking about here near the Lafayette area, and this is going to include also northwestern Clay County and northeastern Macon County until 8:15. So we got another about 18 minutes on this warning as it goes through time. We're going to continue to track this for you. We are going to stay on the air as long as we have a tornado warning for you. So from the Edmonton area through Tompkinsville, Kentucky into Hermitage Springs and Lafayette, still watching this segment still pretty strong with this storm system as it continues to move on to the east. We slide you down this line and we get into the Granville area, the Buffalo Valley area, still some strong, but really I think from Buffalo Valley back down to Smithville, where we're still seeing kind of some of these segments bow out a little bit, means there's a lot of wind and a lot of forcing back behind that. So from Buffalo Valley to just north of Smithville into the Auburntown area, pretty strong storm still with you and about to move through the Smithville area. So as you get into this area, please go ahead and take cover. You really want to be paying attention also as we're moving now into Putnam County from this storm system, moving into western Putnam County. We could see some warnings extended your way as well, down into Auburntown and just north of the Woodbury area. But certainly Smithville, you are going to be under the gun from this southern system. So I'm going to take you back again to the warnings just to show you we have a new tornado warning that's now extended into western Putnam County. Glad to see that because it still looks like a strong system. So we've got the one near Lafayette up to the Kentucky line, and now we're just seeing another host or a big batch of severe thunderstorm warnings issued. Let me move this a little further north so you can see. This is all the way from Murfreesboro now, extended through areas that are going to include northern, of course, Rutherford County, but also looks like here northern parts of Cannon County. We're talking about most of DeKalb County, and then even all the way through Putnam County, a little bit of White County. That's western parts of White County, most of Putnam County, then up to the north, Jackson, parts of Clay, still into the Macon and Trousdale area, and of course Wilson County that has been under the warning. But as far as tornado warnings, we've got here through Buffalo Valley, almost into Cookeville, from Watertown to up to about the South Carthage area. But this newest one, again, that is in effect is going to include the Buffalo Valley area and then the Cherry Hill area up to Gentry, the Baxter area, Nash, and really almost into Cookeville. So folks in Cookeville, I would encourage you to go ahead and start planning for this to slide in over the next few minutes as this strong system kind of heads your way. And again, Putnam County, almost into the Cookeville area and lots of the Smithville area as well for this system. And if I go ahead and take the same area and just overlay the radar on it, and you can see what we're talking about here as far as the tornado warning goes and these strong storms that are headed your way. This is all coming out of that Buffalo Valley area that we have told you about, and also into the Gentry area. So this is going to start to head your way as well and could possibly cause some damage. Again, we look at the reds and greens to come together on wind. That's what I'm looking at now. And boy, just south of Buffalo Valley, we are seeing some of that wrapping around with the reds and green segments coming together here with the possibility of some rotation just south of Buffalo Valley. Boy, this is close to I-40. Folks on I-40, you really need to go get in a safe place. And we are also watching a little rotation a little further south than that too, near the Shows Hill area as well. There's some of just the roads that are in that area, but most of this really close to the I-40 corridor. I think Leland has a little bit more right now.
I've got some video, and I'm going to call an audible here and see if we can also bring up Steve Hayslip's mic, because Kelly and Steve are down in the Williamson County area. Steve, this is a possible funnel cloud sighting there, I-65 near Nissan. So I-65 near Nissan, and so you've got that Nissan headquarters down there, and so that's that nice pretty building you see. The red is the Nissan there. Wow. So Steve, tell me a little bit more about the area that we're looking at.
Well, it looks like right now we're looking west from Carruthers Parkway, probably back over toward the Nissan area. Man, you see that thing coming through there. Yeah, I believe we're looking westbound right now, because that looks like the 65 traffic there at that point, and then Nissan, of course, the big building right there. So yeah, that's where it's coming from.
All right, so that was again earlier. That's what prompted the warning and the extended coverage in the first place. We started the coverage with tornado warnings at 7:08, and in the beginning it was a radar indicated tornado around the Cool Springs Galleria, and you see that that was sent in to us by a News Channel 5 viewer. And now that things are calmer in your area, except for those of you in the warnings right now, if you're able to post video safely, again, if you're able to post video safely, then send that on into my5 at newschannel5.com, or you can do Twitter with hashtag NC5, or post it to our Facebook page, which is newschannel5.com, Facebook, newschannel5.com. So I got a couple of areas here, and Kelly was talking about where reds and greens come together. Now, if you look at our symbol here, the red is going away from the radar site. The green is going toward the radar site. What you don't want to see that happen is those together at the same time, because that means you've got the winds moving in different directions at the same time, and the possibility of some rotation here. There was a brand new radar update, so you see the Silver Point community there, and that's back along Interstate 40 as you work your way. I believe Silver Point is just as you're getting into Putnam County there, I think. And then right here is where we've got an issue of concern. So if you're south of Silver Point, that's State Highway 56. These storm cells have been moving on off toward the east here at about 65, 70 miles per hour. That means those of you in the Nash community, those of you in the Thomas community are folks who need to take cover right now. So again, right here where we've got red and green together, meaning winds in opposite directions very close to each other, you need to take cover at this particular time. Here is the wider view of radar, and we've got several tornado warnings. We also have several severe thunderstorm warnings right now, and you see that line stretching along I-65 into Nashville. So right now in Nashville, we have just rain. So the city of Nashville proper is in the clear as far as severe weather is concerned. It's those of you in our eastern counties and southeastern counties that are in the most dangerous situation for us now. And you can see the warnings here. We've got Macon County, Clay County under a tornado warning for us now. So they've actually got two little areas here. You've got this area here, and then you've also got Putnam County, or where we've got the warning. So the nice thing is this one here for Macon County, Clay County, and around Hermitage Springs has been trimmed a bit. That one's out until 8:15. This one also being trimmed a bit. So Wilson County for this tornado warning now in the clear. We've got the Smithville area. You're in the clear. Liberty, you're in the clear. That's where I believe DeKalb West Elementary School is located. So it does look like it's along I-40 right in through here. And again, for those of you who make the trip all the time from Knoxville back over into East Tennessee, we've got a little strange movement here, but for those of you who are right there, that's if you are about to come out of Smith County and then work your way up the ridge, there is a rest stop. It's actually a rest stop only on one side of the interstate, and you've all got to go on the north side of the interstate to get to it. So that's where that storm cell is at right now, moving its way toward the Baxter community. So you've got I-40 here. Before I-40, there was 70 north that a lot of folks took to make that trek into Putnam County. So right here are primary concerns for us now. And again, Smith County, Clay County, Hermitage Springs, Macon County. It's good that this is being trimmed a bit, but these warnings continue now for at least another 10 minutes throughout this area. In addition to that, there are a host of severe thunderstorm warnings that remain in effect as well. You've got some pretty strong wind shear with this, so even if you don't have the tornado touching ground, that does mean some pretty strong strong winds. At times when these storms were first moving in, we had wind gusts at up to 80 miles per hour. And when that tornado was moving into Williamson County earlier in the Cool Springs Galleria, there was a rotation indication of about 100 miles per hour being seen on one of the radar sites. So through here, this area in the box is our concern right now. This is Interstate 40. There is the Smith County line with Putnam County. So if you're in Baxter, look out. This is moving east-northeast a bit. So Jackson County, you're not under the warning right now, but at least if you're in the southern part of Jackson County, you need to be very aware of what is happening around you at this current time. Again, we talk about where these colors come together, and we really don't want to see that right now. So you got this area of red and green, meaning radar, wind showing two different directions. Back and forth toward radar, away from radar, right next to each other is an area of concern. So right here, Smith County line, again, for folks who need to travel on I-40, if you can put that off, do so for just a bit. The rotation hasn't been as forthcoming or hasn't been as showy in Macon County and Clay County, but still, it's a situation that we've got to watch very carefully right in through here. So those warnings continue, and that's the warning right now that goes from Clay County and then back over toward the Salina area. Tompkinsville, just on the other side of the state line, officially not under a tornado warning. You've got the severe thunderstorm warning, but we need to keep an eye for your way as well. So I'm going to get you more information. I think Kelly was just handed something, so let's go back over to her.
Yes, indeed, Leland. We're watching all of this very closely. Just wanted to report that MC is showing almost 10,000 outages at this time. NES is over 1,000, almost 1,500 power outages at this time. And of course, they're working to get that back on for us. Look at what's going on. This is mostly just barely to the south and west of the Cookeville area, where we're still looking at this radar picture showing some very heavy downpours, strong winds in between Cookeville and the Baxter area in Smithville. And boy, you can really see, I'm going to lift this up to get it just over the banner there, where you can see in between Baxter and the Smithville area, we are really seeing still a very strong segment of this storm system holding together as it moves on in. This is where our focus is right now for the possibility of a thunderstorm that could produce a tornado. Not seeing any ground reports with this, but I just wanted to let you know that it could very quickly, and that's why we have all these warnings. Let's switch it over to look at winds right now, and then you can really zero in a little bit more on the issue here where we could see some of this rotation, and that is again right between the Cookeville and Smithville area into some of the smaller communities from the Sherrill area into Nash, the Diddy area just south of I-40. So this is going to be a big concern for folks traveling I-40 near Cookeville on that Putnam County line to Smithville and DeKalb counties. In that area where those three counties come together, we're really concerned about what's going on with the wind here. The possibility that we could see some rotation or spin up because you can see in the Nash area winds in the green. Then you switch over into the Diddy area where you've got that red showing up, and that is where we could see it kind of starting to wrap around. Broad rotation like this often leads to a tighter rotation that is an indication that a tornado could start to spin up. But when you get that broad rotation, that's when you really have to take cover, because it could happen so quickly, even in between radar cycles, that you could see that spin up happen. So all of this is just south of the Cookeville area and moving into eastern parts of our area. We'll back this back out just a bit and switch it back over to radar to show you what's going on with all of the storms right now. Still very heavy rainfall in that area. Switch the lightning on. You can still see it's very electric, and we're still seeing lots of lightning. I'm going to take you back to radar just real quickly to broaden the view out to show you that we have many more areas that are getting strong storms than just the ones that are under the severe thunderstorm warnings and the tornado warnings. So all of our southern Kentucky counties have really been seeing a lot of strong storms this morning. Now it has moved into the eastern half of our Kentucky counties, but still from Fountain Run to Columbia, Kentucky, into Somerset and Burkesville, still very strong storms, straight line winds, lots of lightning could be causing problems, and this is going to be sliding towards the the Monticello area over the next 30 minutes. And of course, across the line into the Birdsville, Salina area in the next few minutes. But Tompkinsville seeing a lot of lightning with that. And I know we were focusing in on the Lafayette area earlier. Looks a little less organized right now, more general thunderstorms to severe thunderstorms now into Tompkinsville and Salina as that threat is heading a little bit further to the north right now. But we'll back this back out and show you where this line goes back into the area we've been talking about, Granville to Cookeville to Buffalo Valley. But it's easy to pick out where the strongest weather is, the heaviest downpours in those kind of purple colors here, that it's sliding through the Smithville area now from Buffalo Valley through Smithville. Folks in Smithville and to the north of that through the Cookeville area, you need to go ahead and be in your safe place. Now the storm system does slide back through the Woodbury area, and then you can see it kind of flatten out as it goes back through Murfreesboro, Las Casas, Christiana, Eagleville, Spring Hill, and Columbia. No tornado warnings for this area, but there are still some strong thunderstorms in the area, so you want to be very vigilant. Stay with us and make sure that the threat right now is just for thunderstorms. So let's look at the watches and warnings once again. Big picture shows most of Middle Tennessee, certainly the eastern half, southern areas of Middle Tennessee, and the eastern half of our Kentucky counties still under that tornado watch through 10 a.m. this morning. That's when we can really start to let our guard down a little bit, but we've still got almost 2 hours before all of that is set to expire. Now, the warnings will definitely zoom in to show you where the threat is, the more specific threat is, and the threat is higher. And that again is in many of these Kentucky counties that we're seeing here, areas like Monticello that we just mentioned, Burkesville, Powersburg area. We still have a few minutes left, I think about 3 minutes left on this warning that stretches into the Salina area. Tornado warning from Hermitage Springs through Salina, and this is continuing to move to the east. So still be vigilant for this, but I am optimistic that this one will be let to expire and just go down to a severe thunderstorm warning. But you go further to the south, and I think this is still the bigger threat because the radar indications are still pretty strong in this Buffalo Valley to Cookeville area, and this has now been extended a bit further to the east to include areas like Rickman and the Monterey area, and that's because they're just forward looking into the future about where this storm system is going to go. Now I'm going to pop up a little product here called wind shear. So this is looking at shear, or when winds are kind of wrapping in opposite directions, and you can really see that hone in on where the winds are the biggest threat, not necessarily rain and lightning and all of those other things, but we have wind shear, meaning wind moving in different directions, starting to move towards the Baxter area out of Buffalo Valley. And I tell you, this is right at the area, and I was seeing the radar line up with, to support the wind shear, lining up with radar to say that this is our biggest threat right now at the moment into the Baxter area. Notice how this is tracking too. It's kind of to the east northeast, so this is going to be moving through Baxter, but very close to Cookeville as well, a bigger population center. So folks in Cookeville and Baxter, I hope you're already in your safe place. Cookeville, you need to really start to get there. And this is going to head into the Rickman community over the next few minutes. Let me just go ahead and put a storm track on this just to project this out into the future for you for the next 30 minutes or so. And we're seeing Baxter at 8:17, Cookeville at 8:25, all good 8:28, Rickman by 8:34, and then it moves over into the Beaver Hill area and Columbia Hill shortly after that. So folks there really need to go ahead and start thinking about getting to your safe place. We'll push this back into radar mode just to show you how it's lining up in the Baxter area with some of that kind of stronger inputs from the radar showing the heavier rainfall and where we're seeing some lightning also with this storm system right now. So we'll go ahead and show you that. I'm going to turn it over to Leland, who has a little bit of new information.
Yeah, we've got new warnings that are now being extended into 8:45. So new tornado warnings being extended now until 8:45. I'm going to ask my control room crew when they can if they can get that video that we had earlier from the Nissan area down around Cool Springs. We're going to show that to you because the storms that we're continuing to watch in Putnam County started with this a little earlier. So it's 8:15. This was 7:08. So this was just over an hour ago at the Cool Springs Galleria area. Those of you who travel up and down I-65 know the region very well. That's Nissan's national headquarters there. And so that had to be very frightening for those folks to see that. And you can also, in addition to that, see some of the lightning that is showing up. So that is when this warning warning was issued. At the moment, no other reports like that, but this system has continued to spawn brand new tornado warnings. So the tornado warnings that continue now for Cookeville, that was the genesis of it, the beginning of it, back around the Cool Spring Gallery area, again, just over an hour ago. So Cookeville, you now are under a tornado warning that is being extended into around the 8:45 time frame. So there's a check of radar for us at this point. There is the wide view. So if you're in Nashville right now, yeah, there's still some showers out there, but the big story is what's happening right now to your east as far as what's happening now. There are damage reports through here. Just looking at one a moment ago, that when this storm came around the Smyrna airport, there were winds around 80 miles per hour, and so they actually evacuated the air traffic control tower there at the Smyrna airport. I am also getting a report from rain-wrapped circulation Upperman High. So hopefully the folks in Upperman High are under a tornado drill. Upperman High is one of those high schools in the Putnam County area, not too far from Cookeville proper. So if you are in Putnam County, if you're back over around Upperman High, I'm trying to remember if there's a middle school in that cluster as well, but reports right now of a rain-wrapped circulation around Upperman High School back over around the Cookeville area. So make sure that teachers, staff, that you are doing what you need right now to make sure that everybody gets through this safe. The nice thing so far, yes, we've had damage and there's going to be a lot of cleanup after this, but at the moment, there are no reports of any injuries, so we want to see if we can get through this storm event over the next hour without any injuries being reported. So this is wide view of radar for us right now, and the showers and storms making their way through Putnam County for us this morning. So again, Nashville, some rain, but the storms are now east of you. We've actually got areas back over in West Tennessee that are now being cleared out of the tornado watch. One warning for us now, the one from Macon County, Clay County, has come to an end. One warning now, and that's the one here in the Putnam County area from Baxter back over to Rigmond. So we've got the warning here for a little part of Jackson County, Overton County, and Putnam County. This is out now for just under 30 minutes. And again, we talked about the circulation around Upperman High School. Make sure that everybody at Upperman High or any other elementary or middle schools in this warning area that you are taking cover right now. You've got a host of schools over this way, whether they're from Baxter, whether they're at Avery Middle School, whether they're back over around Putnam County High. Make sure you're taking precautions. Right here is the bit of the circulation that we're keeping an eye on now. And see right there, and again, we talk about these colors close together. What that means is you've got winds different directions from radar. Toward radar green, away from radar in red. So when these colors are close together, that means you may have a little bit of circulation as the winds are going back and forth extremely close to each other. So right in through here is a big area of concern right now. If you're in Cookeville, if you're back over around Putnam County, that was a cell I had set up a little bit earlier. So that has now made its way into Putnam County for us now, and it's this region right here. So these storms are moving east 65 miles per hour. Clark Range, Jamestown, Robbins are communities of concern. Again, we mentioned Rigmond a moment ago. Southern Jackson County, southern Overton County, you are under this warning as well until 8:45. So again, this has had a history of producing damage. You saw the funnel cloud, the tornado there that we had on video just a moment ago. So you need to take this extremely serious. Let's get through this, and then we can go outside and assess the damage. But right now, we need to get you through the next 30 minutes. Kelly?
Absolutely, Leland. Amen to that. Here's a look. In the Cookeville area, we are seeing, again, that rotation that we're looking at. And this is very close to Cookeville now. We had the National Weather Service saying that at 8:12, this was really near the Baxter area. We're now seeing this progressing, because it's such a fast-moving system, towards Cookeville very quickly. 60 miles per hour is the track of this. Many times we have systems that move at about half that speed. So it is very fast. That's why it's moved quickly through our area, and it is now into Cookeville. But I want to just show you really and draw your attention, or turn your attention to the way that in the Cookeville area that we have the winds in the red. Red is moving away from our radar site. Green is towards the radar site. So we're seeing those in opposite directions of each other. That is what could indicate some spin up, at least some broad rotation. You see that tighten down into tight rotation, and you've got a tornado on your hands. But, you know, before that happens, it's in a broad rotation, and that's what we're seeing here. So the possibility that it could pretty quickly turn tornadic is with us. Not that we have one spotted right now, but this is kind of the area just kind of on the south side of Cookeville where we've got those winds moving in opposite directions, and it's kind of moving to the east, northeast. So just for the next 15 minutes, that's not a very long period of time. It's going to start to impact these communities that you see, Rocky Point and the Monterey area by 8:33. So very quickly, we're going to continue to see that, but the broad rotation from Cookeville down into the area here, it looks like it's Goffton area. But you can see here the Sandy Springs area also in that all good community, certainly something we need to watch for. And then this will progress into the Monterey area. But when you see these kind of colors close together, that's what you're watching for. So let me turn it back over here to what we're normally used to seeing, which is the radar. And it's a little bit more difficult to pick out, to be honest. There's a lot of storms around here, and this one certainly looks like a strong one, but we don't have that perfect hook echo or anything at the moment looking into the Cookeville area. Now, it is very strong here on the backside of this little line here from the Mount Union area on down into Cookeville, so that's one area to be very cautious of. But the strong storms, of course, will always have those straight line winds with you that you need to be very careful of and mindful of, the straight line winds as well as all of the lightning that you can have. Let me put the lightning on with this, and you see a little bit more lightning now being pulled to the south of the Cookeville area as well, down into the Smithville area just north of Sparta. You can see a lot of storms in that area as well as the Cookeville area. But when you look at just kind of the velocities or the winds wrapping around each other, you've got some change in direction into the Cookeville area. Now I'm going to put our shear product on that looks at many of the same things, and you're seeing that just north of the Cookeville area, right where I was showing you that some of the radar indications are the strongest. Look just north of Cookeville, and you can start to almost pick out right here north of the Cookeville area where you've got a very strong back end, and then it's almost making a comma, a little bit of a comma look. Not the perfect signature, but just a little bit of that. So north of Cookeville, please be mindful of that. That's heading into the Allgood area. So folks in Allgood, please be in your safe place now. We got a little bit of what maybe could be a little bit of inflow there into the storm. And then when that lines up with your shear that's on your map, it makes you extra, really cautious of that area now from Cookeville and to the north as well, heading towards the Allgood area. So we want to watch that along with your storm relative velocities. You've got some reds and greens coming together in that area as well, so please be very careful there. And I'm going to take you back to, again, the watches and warnings just to show you that it is now from Cookeville on into the Rickman area where we have the current warning for Cookeville. That projects into the future into Rickman, Crawford, the Monterey area, Post Oak, Rocky Point, all of these areas here that's on the border of several counties. I know we're talking about Putnam County here for Cookeville, but this is projecting on into Overton County, especially the southern part of it, and into the southern part of Jackson County, just a little bit of that area possibly as well. But for certainly Putnam County and Overton County over the next few minutes, watch for this. And then we have severe thunderstorm warnings, not to let those slip through the cracks either, because we have severe thunderstorm warnings all the way up through our Kentucky counties. So you take the Cookeville area, push up to the north into Overton, Pickett, Clay, Jackson, and then all the areas like Cumberland, Kentucky, Clinton in Kentucky, all those areas, and then just a little bit south of the Putnam area into DeKalb and White counties, as well as parts of the Cumberland County area, still under severe thunderstorm warnings for the next 30 minutes or so. So please sit tight and let all of that go through before you decide to do any traveling. The big picture on radar shows a lot of storminess with this, but it's kind of the leading edge of the system here that's on to the east where we see the worst storms in our Kentucky and Tennessee counties. till about down to the Woodbury, Smithville area. After that, we have a lot of storms still on the back edge of this, still raining in Nashville right now, still lightning and thunder in the Franklin area, Columbia area, but this is the worst of it. Do want to point out, though, there are more storms from Hohenwald back to the south into the Savannah area. So this is, you know, we're not completely storm free in our western areas right now. It just looks like these are not quite as likely to produce problems, but there's still very heavy downpours from Hohenwald back to just north of Waynesboro. Very heavy downpours, lots of lightning in this kind of Clifton area back here. So don't ignore this. This is still dangerous to get out and be driving this morning, even in those areas. So a lot of folks covered by storms, but it's the leading edge, the eastern edge, where we think they could do the most severe damage.
All right, so I want to go back here and give you a tighter view of this one tornado warning that we have. And you can see that little area that's a little brighter back over around All Good for us this morning. So through here is where we're seeing a little bit of rotation. And because of this, this tornado warning continues now until 8:45. So those of you in the Monterey community, be on the lookout. Part of this is pushing your way. You need to take this very carefully, take it very seriously, just because of some of the damage that we are now seeing, whether it's reports from you, our fantastic viewers, or from video that you all have sent in. And we've seen video of the tornado around the Nissan headquarters, damage that was done to SunTrust Bank down around Franklin. So let's go back to this video. So again, very impressive earlier. This is around 7:08. So what we're watching now over Putnam County started back with this, and the first time that this tornado warning went into play, and has been traveling now for several counties. So we'll come back to radar, show you what's happening for you now. If you're in the All Good community, this is our big region, our big area of concern. So let me show you the tornado warning that's out. Let me extend this view so that we can kind of better orient everybody on where we're at. So there's Cookeville right now. We'll pull this out and you can see that this is a couple of counties away from Nashville. So several counties away from Nashville. When this came through Nashville, reports about 7,000 folks, or at least 7,000 customers, I will say, without electricity here in the Nashville area. And I think that's actually a good sign, because if I remember correctly, about 10 minutes ago, it was about 10,000, pushing 10,000 without outages. I'm looking at two different reports. So we've got Middle Tennessee Electric Corporation, nearly 10,000, and then NES with about 14, just really about 7,000 customers now who do not have electricity. So in its wake, this storm has produced some of the issues out there moving through Rickman. So this is all that's left right now, but it's still packing a very powerful punch from Cookeville back over into Rickman. A little earlier, about 5 minutes ago, we had reports of a rain-wrapped circulation around the Upperman High, and that's one of the things that we have to be careful about. The tornado video we saw from Nissan was very well defined, but sometimes we get what we call rain-wrapped circulation or rain-wrapped tornadoes, and those can be very dangerous because it's in a very heavy rainstorm, and it's hard to see the funnel cloud of the tornado because it's being hidden, being wrapped around by a great big rain shield. So right now from Cookeville, this is what's up. That rain-wrapped circulation was earlier around Upperman High. From Monterey to the Rickman community back over to Crawford right now. This storm warning is out for about another 15 minutes until 8:15. So let's look again at storm circulation for us now. And you can see just a little north here of the Cookeville area, back around All Good, back over around Jeremiah are a couple of areas of concern. So from Cookeville, you would take State Highway 111 to get up to Rickman. So this is our concern right now. Just got a fresh update. So this is now back over near the Brotherton community, meaning folks around State Highway 84 need to be on the lookout. So we'll identify a few of the roads here. Brotherton, Mountain Road, Stamps, Shady Grove Road, back over around the Beaver Hill community. Thornton Hill are a couple of spots that we're going to keep an eye on. So let me pull this out just a bit. Let's put another storm path on where we've got the leading edge of this storm cell right now, moving eastward here at around 65 miles per hour. They've been fluctuating between 60 and 70 miles per hour. So those of you in Rickman bearing down here as we speak, in the Livingston community here in the next few minutes. You've got Clark Range. Should it hold together, Clark Range would put you into Fentress County, not too far from Jamestown. And so that would be here in about 15 minutes. And then the Jamestown area itself would be right around 9:01. And should it hold together, then Oneida would put it over into Scott County there in Oneida. It jumps up a little bit in time because of those other counties there being on Eastern time. But there we go. This is the area of concern for us now. Tornado warning here. There are several other warnings that are out for us now. You've got a host of severe thunderstorm warnings that stretch now from Cumberland County, Crossville, Sparta, back over into Smithfield and DeKalb County. Those warnings now extend into Byrdstown. The nice thing here in Byrdstown is that the warning that was tornadic earlier is now just a severe thunderstorm warning for you. And those warnings now extending into Monticello, Pine Knot, back over into the London community. So, Kelly, this is the region of concern right now. The big area of concern, our friends in Cookeville, Monterey, especially east northeast of Cookeville, all good. Monterey, Rickman are areas of concern, and we mentioned too Sand Springs and Brotherton are a couple of areas too under concern right now.
Yeah, that's what I've been watching, Leland, as you mentioned, the Brotherton area and Sand Springs. This is all moving towards Monterey, so you think you have a fix on exactly where the problem is, but it moves so fast right now. We're seeing at least 60 mile per hour the track of this, so that's why it quickly moved through the Cookeville area, now into the Sand Springs area, Brotherton, and it will be moving now with this latest radar swipe that went across now from Sand Springs to Monterey, Beaver Hill, and will quickly move up into areas like the Cliff Springs area where we see again these reds and greens coming together here, indicating some rotation in this area. And this is starting to get really into the Cumberland Plateau area, so you've got even the way that the terrain interacts with this can sometimes be a factor, but this is moving more into the Cumberland Plateau area. Put a little track on this area of rotation here, just where kind of the reds and greens are starting to come together. And we are talking about this moving to the east at 60 miles per hour, probably a little north of due east, but just looking in the next 25 minutes. And we're talking Columbia Hill at 8:35, Cliff Springs by 8:35, Muddy Pond 8:41, the Clark Range area at 8:46, and then Banner Springs by 8:52 as this continues to move to the east, maybe a little north of east at the moment. We go back to where the shear is, because these shear tracks are a very good tool to use to kind of see where we've had a little bit of wind shear or change of wind change of wind direction. And as you can see, we're seeing much of that back towards Cookeville, but then it tapers off a little bit, which could be a good sign for us. So hopefully that will continue to be the trend there. Pop on radar to see how that lines up with all of this. And again, very close into the Monterey area, and you can see that little uptick there near the Parker Road I-40 corridor, where we've got some of the heavier downpours of rainfall right moving into the Monterey area. So folks in Monterey, hope you're already in your safe place from this system, because it has had that history back into Cool Springs area of Franklin and Brentwood of producing that tornado that really had that damage along the SunTrust Bank area. So we do want to take this very seriously. Okay, so that's the area that we're focusing on right now with this warning. Also, we have severe thunderstorm warnings out that stretch all the way from Crossville to Sparta, through the Cookeville area, back to Smithville, and then through Clark Range, Jamestown, Livingston. The static area crosses the Tennessee-Kentucky line into Albany and Monticello, with these warnings that will continue to head to the east as the storm system heads to the east. Big picture shows much of Middle Tennessee still in the tornado watch until 10 a.m. this morning, but we're seeing more settled weather on the southern end of it. Move us to the radar view. Wanted to show you this because, yes, we have storms going in a lot of areas. We've been focusing on those eastern and northeastern parts of the area to show you where we could see the best chance of damage with this, but there is thunder and lightning that you should not underestimate, going from Smithville all the way back towards the Murfreesboro area. Take in a little closer, mostly just rain into Nashville right now. Not too much lightning from Davidson County, but you get just south of Davidson County into the Franklin area, Bethesda, still lightning, still storms going on, and you don't want to get out into this lightning. We've still got that even going on into Columbia. This line to the south starting to sink through the Columbia area, and some very heavy storms, in fact, into the Hohenwald area and back towards Clifton and down into the Savannah area as well. So we've got some very heavy rainfall in those areas that could cause some flooding that happens very quickly. You do not ever want to drive over flooded areas, especially if you can tell that it is moving at all. And with the heavy rainfall rates that we're seeing from Selmer into Clifton and into the Hohenwald area, you could see that also lots of cloud to ground lightning coming out of that region as well. It does get a little lighter from Nashville back off to the north, and we're doing much better now, starting to dry out in some of these northwestern parts of the area like Hopkinsville and the Clarksville area. Now you can breathe a little bit. And again, Nashville still rain, but mostly what we're seeing is rain. It's kind of the leading edge of all of this that has all those thunderstorms, whether you're talking about in the southern and western edge with most of the general thunderstorms, heavy downpours and lightning, or the damaging straight line winds with the possibility of rotation over here in our eastern counties. Seeing a lot of lightning still with this storm system. Just want to point this out, that this segment of storm up here right on the Tennessee-Kentucky line from Salina over here to the Powersburg, Monticello area, Cumberland City. A lot of lightning clustered there, some very heavy downpours, so be cautious of that. Right now we don't have a tornado warning with that, but we did when it was back towards Lafayette. That's likely the same cell that is in that area as well. And again, just want to update you real quick that the Monterey area is still under the gun for that tornado warning for the next few minutes. Right now we've got some video. Do we want to go to that?
Yeah, we'll go to video now from the Twice Daily on Carruthers Boulevard down in the Brentwood area. And this is as that storm is moving through a little after 7 o'clock this morning. Same system at that time that's produced what we saw from the tornado back over around the Nissan headquarters. But this is a Twice Daily. A lot of you down in this region know exactly where this is. So this is the Twice Daily on Carruthers Boulevard in Brentwood. Do want to just show you our storm watch map. Just to update you on this real quick, because we've had several schools that were going to close because of storms moving through. There are several more that are now going to be closed for today. On top of that, you had several that are still operating on a delay for us right now. But the areas you see highlighted in blue, brand new closings, Benton, Humphreys, and Hickman. Those counties were actually going to open on a delay today, but Benton, Humphreys, and Hickman County schools will now be closed because of some of the damage moving through. As I show you radar, just a couple of updates here as far as electricity. We have now, I believe, up to over 17,000 customers with NES, Nashville Electric Service, who are without power right now. And that number for Montgomery County at this moment is nearly 9,000 without electricity, 9,000 customers without electricity up in the Montgomery County area. Show you radar now, and if there's a good news to what we see here, it's that as new warnings are popped up, they weren't tornado warnings, they were just severe thunderstorm warning. So right now we have the tornado warning out for just about another 8 minutes. This is out now until 8:15 from parts of Putnam County. Cookeville, you are in the clear. This is right around Monterey. So for those of you who make that trip to Knoxville, you go up the mountain from Cookeville to Crossville. You get to the top of that mountain. That's Monterey, that little community right there. So Monterey, you still need to take cover. And for those of you along State Highway 84, you still have problems your way. We'll put information back on where we still see a little bit of this circulation right there. So you see Monterey, see that area of green and red come together. So this is where there may be a little bit of an issue for us this morning. So let me bring this in just a tad closer, see if we can identify a few streets in through here. Those of you along Buckner Road, this is just pushed through your area. You still have some heavy rain right now. Lake Hill Road, you've also have seen this just pushed through your community. Anderson Road, Norad Road, Prospect Lane are a couple of areas that need to be taking cover at this particular point. You see the Phillips Lane community as well. So if you're in here, this is Monterey. From Monterey just north, you need to take cover at this point, because this is where we've got at least the strongest rotation that is being shown at this moment. So I'm pull this out for a bit. We'll put a storm path on this in Fentress County, Clark Range. That means you need to kind of watch this, because as it continues to move on off toward the east, there is great concern that part of this may move into your community. So right in through here, let's do a storm path, and again moving east here, northeast at around 65 miles per hour. So that means Clark Range within just about 10 minutes. The Crawford community here in just about a minute or two. We'll see if this warning is continued as a tornado warning. Right now, they may let this kind of go out. I see just a brand new note as I look here from our good friends at the Weather Service and the information that they provide for us. And they're saying that right now the rotation is broadened out big time over Overton County. So again, the rotation that we're seeing through here is really starting to broaden out a bit. So at this moment, it means that as of about 5 minutes, they're going to allow this tornado warning, the last one out for the News Channel 5 area, this tornado warning to expire. So there we go now. Cookeville, you're in the clear. So Putnam County, the southern part of Overton County. You see Livingston there. That's in the center part of Overton County. So right here is where we've got our concern right now. While it does look like it's weakening a bit, if you're in Monterey, if you're along State Highway 84, if you're back over in the Crawford community, take cover right now. Let me pull this out so that I can kind of make sure everyone is aware of exactly where we are pointing at now. This is all east of Nashville. So while there's rain in Nashville and still a little bit of thunder in Nashville for us right now, the severe weather threat is in our eastern counties. And again, Kelly, the good news is it looks like that they will allow this tornado warning to expire. That will leave us with only severe thunderstorm warnings.
Yes, indeed, Leland. That is definitely good news. That's the area that's still under the gun that we've been talking about. And certainly, even if you look at it just from a radar perspective, where we're looking at the heavy rain, you can really see that a lot of the energy from the storm system is in that area from Clark Range down towards the Sparta area, about to move into Pleasant Hill and the Crossville area, really already into Pleasant Hill and the Crossville area. Certainly very strong. Pop the lightning on with it, and you can see a lot of lightning with that storm system as well from Monterey down to Pleasant Hill, about to move into Crossville again. But I'm going to back this up and show you part of the bigger picture, how this connects with some other storms in the area, because there's another little line of storms that are pretty powerful. Now, may not be spinning up tornadoes, but it does not have to do damage. And we're seeing another line right here on the Tennessee-Kentucky line that I would say use caution. Don't get out and travel with this from Monticello to the Powersburg area into Static, and that stretches down towards Livingston. All of this just slightly to the north and west of Jamestown, to orient you a little bit, just south of the Monticello area, really into Monticello, Kentucky as well. You can see that there's just a lot of lightning and a lot of heavy downpours with that. Straight line wind's going to be an issue there. That is in the midst of a lot of storminess that we're seeing along our area. But those two areas, the one that we just highlighted on the Tennessee-Kentucky line, and then the other one that is moving towards the Crossville area now, probably the strongest storms in this. But there's just a lot of very stormy weather, as you see here, through the Smithville area into Murfreesboro. Rain from Nashville back up to Hermitage Springs, mostly just rain. But you get into Smithville, Murfreesboro, we're still seeing some cloud to ground lightning, even more of it still into Williamson County, where folks are trying to assess the damage that we saw near the Cool Springs area. And we're still getting hit with some lightning around the Franklin area, so please be careful there. Into Smyrna as well. You get south of Franklin and we have more storms from Bethesda to Spring Hill to Columbia, and more of that towards the Mount Pleasant area. And then we've got this other little segment way down here. Don't forget about it. That is still very stormy with lots of lightning, heavy downpours, really from the Hohenwald area down to just north of Waynesboro here into the Clifton area and over towards Savannah and Morse Chapel as well, with some very heavy downpours that could produce some flooding, ponding of water on roadways. Of course, the lightning, all of those are threats that we sometimes underestimate in the midst of a big severe weather outbreak like this. So do watch for that north of Waynesboro into Hohenwald, because the rain is coming down really heavy. Don't want to be out driving in that. Also from Columbia again to Spring Hill and Bethesda. That area really getting a lot of very heavy rainfall as well. While the best chances of wind damage still remain on the leading edge of this in our eastern counties, there are those threats back into the west.
All right, so it looks like as we go back to radar here, I'm going to see what's going to happen here within the next 30 minutes. It looks like that what's left of this tornado warning for Overton County and a little part of Putnam County is going to expire. As we watch that and see what happens here, I do want to report, and this is something too for our newsroom friends to check on. I've gotten one report or so just a bit earlier out of Montgomery County. It does look like that there was a tree damage that happened probably about 2 hours ago. Large tree fell on a mobile home, Raleigh Road. There is a report that a 12-year-old boy was injured. So again, this is Raleigh Road. Looks like a large tree fell on a mobile home up in the Montgomery County, Clarksville area. Unfortunately, a 12-year-old boy was injured when this happened. Let's hope that he will be okay, but the initial report is an injury. There's also reports that there were other mobile homes and cars that were damaged. So again, for those of you listening and for our friends in the newsroom, that was Raleigh Road, about 6:30 in Montgomery County. So right now, Kelly, all tornado warnings have come to an end, so no tornado warnings are out for our area. We continue now with the severe thunderstorm warnings. You've actually now got to get into West Virginia before you see any current tornado warnings. Do want to note now, it does look like that our friends over in East Tennessee, instead of being under a tornado watch, will be under a severe thunderstorm watch, and that watch will include the Knoxville area back over around Kingsport. For now, Nashville technically still under a tornado watch, but they have been clearing this by the moment. So let me check this one out. And this is actually a better idea of which counties have now been cleared from the tornado watch. So let's say if you're Dixon County, Montgomery County, and points to the west, you are now in the clear. That would also include Humphreys County, Benton County, Camden. You are now in the clear and out of the current tornado watch. There is a look at where all the rain and the storms are taking place for us at the current time. So we'll go back to the news desk here in just a second, but we'll note that we've got 17,500 customers with NES who are without power right now. 17,500 customers with NES without power right now from Montgomery County and Montgomery Electric. It looks like there are about 9,000 and people who are without electricity here at this particular point. So we'll continue to survey the damage across the area. Kelly, you've got storm reports up right now, and there are a host of them across the Mid-South.
Yeah, just wanted to take a quick look at this, but it's a pretty impressive picture here of storm reports, though, that have been coming in across the area. Notice this symbol that you're going to see a lot on this is trees down. That is a symbol of a broken tree, and boy, it is numerous across the area. Now, this symbol here that you're seeing with these kind of balls, that's hail reports. So we've got the reports of some hail into the Franklin area and to the Little Lot area, but also this is in the past. Lots of trees down, numerous along Williamson County, the Davidson County area, multiple trees reported. It's not showing up on this particular map, but of course we head into the Cool Springs area. Don't want to downplay that. What was likely a tornado into the Cool Springs area. We do have trees down into our Kentucky counties as well. And as you can see, not as many in those eastern counties, so that is certainly a good thing. I think we're going to go back over to the anchor desk for just a moment.
Yeah, before we do so, I want to say I just saw a note from our good friend Charlie Neese, who tweeted something here from the Morningside community of Mallory Station, which is on the west side of Cool Springs, and it's a home there. It doesn't look like it was completely damaged, but at least part of the roof is off of that home. So Charlie may not be in TV right now, but the storm chasing part of him never goes away. But Charlie Neese, we appreciate you sharing that. Right now, though, we'll go back over to Steve.
Yeah, I retweeted that as well. That Morningside is in the Brentwood area there along that General George Patton area in Williamson County. Several homes damaged in that storm area there. News Channel 5's Dan Kennedy has been in that area off Concord Road, and I think we now have Dan established, I believe. Dan, can you hear me? We're having some trouble with that shot. There are some homes in that area. Now, we were talking about the Somerset area a little bit earlier. That is over on the east side of 65. Now, these pictures coming to us from the Cool Springs area, our friends at the Franklin Police Department sending these pictures in. Let's go ahead and show you a couple more of these photos. A lot of the roof damage. This is what Charlie was talking about on the west side of 65 down in the Williamson County area, the northern side of Williamson County as you get closer to Davidson County. I believe we do have Dan Kennedy, and we can check in with him down in that area. Dan, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you. Just driving down Concord Road. We're near Concord Pass this morning, and this is some of the damage we're seeing. There is a lot of traffic, and we don't exactly know why. This is where we've stopped for the time being, because this is an example of what one person's front yard looks like. Trees down, there are power lines down, and this is what we've seen for, I'd say, the last half a mile or so on Concord Road. Now, it's not for us, of course, to determine if this was a tornado, straight line winds, what exactly happened here. National Weather Service is going to be out later today, but it's also across the street. And this person has some roof damage as well, some tiles taken off, now covered by a tarp. They got that up pretty quick. Again, all this happening within the last hour and a half, going on about 2 hours now. But a lot of these tree limbs are snapped. Some even bigger trees are fallen down over on Pettis Road as well. But again, we're on Concord Road in Brentwood, and we haven't seen much structural damage. There is roof damage, of course, at that house you just saw, but for the most part here, it's down power lines, down trees, and it is having a big effect on traffic. We're going to continue to drive around these neighborhoods and post updates and pictures on social media. And of course, we want to hear from you and what it's like in your neighborhood. Just let us know. Reporting live in Brentwood, Dan Kennedy, News Channel 5.
All right, Dan, thanks so much. Yeah, the area he's talking about, that northern part of Williamson County over on the east side of I-65, kind of the Ravenwood and Woodland Middle School, that whole area there.
Yeah, we are getting reports. We've got trees down, we've got wind damage, and it's all across the Franklin-Williamson County area right now. Yeah, a bank, we've showed you pictures of this already. Alexandra Cohen was on the scene of this. A bank damaged after the storms ripped through that Franklin area just a couple of hours ago. And Alexandra is on the scene right now at that SunTrust Bank. Alexandra, good morning.
Good morning, Steve and Amy. It's good to finally hear from you guys. This is some of the damage and destruction we are seeing from this storm. This is the SunTrust Bank right behind the Costco here in Williamson County. As you can see, they're using a chainsaw right now to clean up some of this debris. I'm going to walk you guys over here to where a tree actually uprooted from this location. You can see debris from this bank is all over the parking lot. Now, when I got here an hour or so ago, this scene was a different story. There were firefighters, there were police, there was a large response. That's because there was a man actually parked under this green ATM sign. He came over here because everything got really dark. He told me exclusively that he was trying to avoid the heavy hail that was coming down, but when he came under here, this roof collapsed on top of him. Firefighters pulled this piece of the roof off of his vehicle. He was okay. He escaped. He was not injured. But again, this part of the roof here, the SunTrust Bank, fell down on top of him. Now contractors are out here trying to clean up this mess. But as you can see from my screen, this rain has not stopped. It's been pouring. Mallory Lane, the light is also out at this intersection, so that's also causing some traffic issues. You can see these guys moving branches over here. I also heard from paramedics and police who I've been speaking with that there was damage over near the Best Buy as well as to the Cool Springs Bank. Also in this area, there were several homes with trees. We've been seeing trees like this scattered all over this county. You can see Costco is right there. The Discount Tire is right there. And this is what's left of the roof of this bank. It has been a tough day for first responders. If anyone listens to skaters out here, they've been dispatched all across the county to help people during this storm cleanup. It appears the worst is over now, as Leland has been telling you guys all morning. But again, if you are just tuning in, this is something not to be taken lightly. These storms really created some major problems here in the Cool Springs area. Steve and Amy, I'm going to send it back to you guys.
All right, Alexandra, thanks so much. I know that area extremely well down there. Heavy damage also in the north side, up in the Clarksville area as well.
Yeah, lots of power out in that area. Lots of folks in the dark this morning. News Channel 5 Sophie Nielsen-Colding is on Old Russellville Road. Sophie, there's a preschool that's been damaged. Is that right?
Right, we're on Rossview Road. I just want to show you some of the damage we're seeing on this road. See lots of utility crews around. But this over here behind me on that fence, you can see piece of a roof, a metal piece of a roof kind of draped over and bent. And then if you look behind me in the grass back here, there's another piece of that roof. So that is scattered all over the place. And then if you look up a little bit, there's a utility pole that's kind of bent a little bit. And those power lines are coming all the way down here because a tree fell on top of them. So you come along this way, you can see what I'm talking about. That's the tree that fell down, one of many trees to fall down in this area. If you keep coming a bit this way, you can see there's a lot more damage once we get back here. You see it just ripped right out of the base here. Keep coming a little bit this way, and you can see that utility pole that's down, and people, the tree service, they're going to be busy today. They're out here trying to clear all of these branches. If you look to that one house on the left, there's a tree that fell down right in front of it. There are 2 cars there underneath those branches back there. Luckily, the folks who live in these homes right here are okay. Doesn't look like they have any power, but they're okay. And if you keep looking down the road, Rossview Road here, you can see that damage just keeps going. And you see there's a utility crew pulling up here. We're told these are the telephone lines down here. So there's a lot going on. We have just been on scene for a little bit here, checking it out. Luckily, as I said, everybody's okay, but they're going to be busy today clearing up all of this mess. For now, live in Clarksville, Sophie Nielsen-Colding, News Channel 5.
All right, this is a look at the road weather index right now. We hope a lot of people are watching right now and waited to go into work and are now feeling like it is a little bit safer to do so, at least in the Nashville area right now. Here's a look at the road weather index, and that blue indicating everywhere where there could be dangerously wet roads. That means ponding or pooling. So you're wanting to be extra careful, even if you've waited till the storm cleared out before heading out on the roads this morning, because there could still be a lot of water behind. And as we know, that can always lead to more crashes. This is a look right now, I-40 at Elm Hill Pike. Things are really starting to normalize after a slew of crashes in our 7 and 8 o'clock first half hour, at least, of our 8 o'clock hour this morning. Things are really starting to quiet down right now. This is a look at Trinity Hills, I-24 and I-65 at Trinity Lane. You can see, I mean, it doesn't look good out there, but things are moving, though slowly, kind of all over the map. Not as many crashes as we had earlier today. We do have one on Lebanon Pike, one on Murfreesboro Pike, kind of our main alternate routes that people were taking to get away from the heavier lines of traffic, I-24 westbound and I-40 westbound coming in from the southeast and the east this morning. There is one crash at I-65 northbound at Wedgwood right now, but they've been pretty good about clearing these crashes out of the way pretty quickly. Here's just some of the reports we've gotten. Debris on I-65 in the Franklin area at McEwen Drive, so be extra careful if you're about to head out on the road over there. We also have heard word of trees down Murfreesboro Road. This is the Lebanon area at Richmond Shop Road. The lanes were closed in both directions, and you can see there is still some purple, meaning that there is no traffic moving in this area, so you're going to want to avoid that in the Lebanon area this morning. Power lines are down where Metro is saying possible tornado may have touched down at Pettis Road. This is just going to be east of Nolensville Pike, and you can see a big backup right up to there, which indicates that something is going on. Very likely that those power lines or power crews are working in that area and could be impeding traffic right now. Also, trees down in the Franklin area, as we've been reporting. Williamson County really got hit hard this morning. Spencer Creek Road near Mac Hatcher. So that entire neighborhood back there has several trees down. We knew we had some of our coworkers actually driving through that area because they live nearby and just sending us tons of pictures of trees uprooted and down in that neighborhood and really all over. I mean, Montgomery County, Wilson County, Williamson County, we're seeing a lot of damage, and a lot of it is trees and limbs down in the road. So just be extra careful. Don't be in a rush anywhere today. I hope you've already called the boss and let them know exactly what's going on if they are unaware for some reason that coming in late was the good way to go about this morning. So just be careful if you're about to head out, because you could still find some limbs in your path. Here's a look at the slowdowns right now. Nothing too bad. You shouldn't have to add more than 10 minutes to your drive to get to wherever you're going right now. Now let's head back to Leland and Kelly.
All right, we'll start with just a quick look at our snow watch or storm watch map, and just again to show you that there are a couple of counties that were actually going to open on a delay, now closed. The information about all of that is now running at the bottom of the screen and on our website at newschannel5.com. Here's our camera from Hermitage for you this morning. This is over at Nashville Shores, where the light rain is still coming down. Here's the viewpoint from Children's Hospital. Big headline of the moment is that there are no tornado warnings. The last last tornado warning expired about 15 minutes ago, but we still have a host of severe thunderstorm warnings right now from Crossville, Cumberland County, and then back over toward Fentress County.
Absolutely, Leland. Those are the ones that we are looking at right now, but this is starting to push towards East Tennessee as far as the leading edge of this that's been causing most of the damage. Do want to show you, though, the bigger picture. See the outline here in red. That is what is outlined as the tornado watch. Still in effect until 9 a.m., about one more hour on that. But I want you to notice it's been dropped out of the Nashville metro area. Still includes southern Davidson County in this, but we're starting to see basically from Nashville back off to the north and west. This is all letting up, but still very much in effect for all of our southern and eastern counties now until 10 a.m. So that's the tornado watch. The warnings, the more specific areas of concern right now from the Crossville area up to the north, including Cumberland, Fentress, and parts of Pickett County, also into Clinton County of Kentucky. All of that, again, still in for just the next few minutes under a severe thunderstorm warning. But let's switch it over to radar and show you why we are still under that watch. Well, that's because we still have a lot of storminess. This is that leading edge area that we're talking about from Jamestown down to the Crossville area, where we could still see winds doing a lot of damage. But there is still the possibility that we could see some of these general thunderstorms we have spark up and start to see a more intensification. And we still have rain in the Nashville area, thunderstorms, lightning from Bethesda up to Murfreesboro, almost into the Franklin area, down towards Columbia as well, and into Smithville and Sparta. So mostly just general thunderstorms. I do want to call your attention, though, to this little cell that we're watching here around the Hohenwald area. Still very intense, heavy downpours, lots of lightning, very electric from Hohenwald into the Waynesboro area and back into Clifton, Savannah. Goes out of our area at that point, but back into West Tennessee. This stretches all the way towards the Memphis area, just south of Memphis through the Boulevard area. But for us, this is still producing very heavy downpours and extremely concentrated lightning. That means you do not want to be outside in this area from Hohenwald to Waynesboro over to Clifton, because you could get struck by lightning, a very underestimated weather hazard sometimes. And it's also producing so much rainfall so quickly that we could easily see some localized flooding on roadways here. So I want you to stay off the roads while this is coming through. It's slowed down a bit in this area. Notice as you push back and look at this big storm system overall, how the edge of this has raced ahead into Crossville, Oneida, being pushed by some very strong winds back behind it. But the southern end that we're talking about here hasn't. Well, it's moving slower. That's why we're starting to see this line go from up and down to more of a horizontal line. Well, that's because we're seeing the winds less strong right here. That means that it slows down and it rains longer in one area where we have the possibility of flooding then become an issue, because we're seeing the rainfall that is coming down so fast, and the line is not sweeping away very quickly. So a different kind of hazard, but one in this area not to underestimate with the lightning and the heavy rainfall possibility of flooding again for Lewis County down towards the Waynesboro area over into the Clifton area as well. And the heavy rainfall really keeps coming also for the Columbia area, moderate to heavy in the Bethesda area, Almaville, everything south of Franklin towards the Murfreesboro area. Please watch for localized flooding in those areas as well, because you don't ever want to drive into water that is moving or even stationary water of unknown depth. We say turn around, don't drown. It's very important that when you've got water over roadways that you heed the warnings there and take it very seriously.
And because of the warnings that you were pointing out, or the storms you were talking about down around Columbia, back in Hohenwald, that's why those locations right now remain under a tornado watch. You get in Humphreys County, Waverly, Dixon County, you have been cleared from the tornado watch, but because what you see right now and still some pretty hefty rain, some pretty hefty lightning that's going on, you remain under a tornado watch. Now we see Lawrenceburg there. The heaviest of this rain is north of Collinwood in the northern half of Wayne County, back in the Hohenwald. Our camera from Columbia, from Lawrenceburg now, just shows rain. You had a little bit of rain earlier this morning, but wet streets here at the moment. A current temp of 70 degrees versus temps in the 50s and 60s a little north of you. Here's the viewpoint from Murfreesboro now, where they've got a current temperature reading there of 61. So we have a front moving into the region. Because of the strong winds ahead of this front, it really forced these storms to pick up, and that probably accelerated some of the damage that we saw, because earlier the storms had been probably going about 50, 55 miles per hour. Once they crossed the Mississippi River into Tennessee, they really began to pick up 65, 70 miles per hour, and that kind of added a little extra fuel to those storms as they made their way through. These are sustained winds for us right now, and I kind of see the outline of the front pushing into the western part of the area. This is a look at wind gust, and if you look up around Lafayette now, they've got wind gusts there up to around 30 miles per hour. Here's where we stand as far as our temps are concerned now. Nashville down to 60 before the rain came. We were right around 70, 72, upper 50s from Dixon back over to Camden at this hour. So let's highlight the warnings. There are no tornado warning. So we only have 2 counties right now that remain under a severe thunderstorm warning: Cumberland County, Fentress County, and still maybe a little part of Overton County there just on the eastern side of Rickman. That's where the warnings remain in effect for us now, and those storms continue to slide on off toward the east. They remain in effect for just another few minutes here. So again, a few more counties on the plateau there where we've got severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for for another few minutes, and that's the area that has the most concern right now as far as severe weather is concerned. We'll have another look at radar coming up in a moment, but right now, let's head back over to the news desk and to Amy.
Leland, thanks so much. And take a look at this video that was sent to our newsroom of the storm moving into the Cool Springs area. It truly is stunning video. This is from Joseph Brown. We really appreciate him sharing this with us. It was taken right after 7 this morning in the Franklin area. And Steve, you were elaborating a little earlier on exactly where this is, over the Nissan plant?
Yeah, you're looking at the Nissan building is over on the right side is a giant, cloud starts moving closer to it, and you're at the Carruthers Parkway area right there, there are new homes and apartments right there looking back westbound. All right, we'll show you another video as we kind of give you a round robin. This is when the storm first rolled through. A viewer sent this in, Jeremy Tarrant. Jeremy, thank you. This is from the Twice Dailies. Again, Carruthers Parkway is where we're talking about there. That's in the Brentwood area. And you see in that market there, they're just trying to take cover and get those doors shut in just a moment there.
I mean, that is so strong, watching that blow. And several homes were damaged in the Franklin area. These pictures posted by Franklin PD from the Cool Springs area. You see a lot of roof damage there, and some homes that were siding homes. We've seen pictures of the siding that's been blown off there. Another picture of a home damaged, the roof again torn up. We have breaking news right now just coming into the newsroom. Reports of damage at Hadley Middle School. So let's check in with News Channel 5's Matthew Torres. He's in the 5 Alert Center with the latest. Matthew, what have we heard from this school?
Well, Amy, we're actually still trying to get in touch with the school and Metro Schools as well, but we have been hearing multiple reports from parents as far as damage to that middle school. We're talking about DuPont Hadley Middle School. That is right there in the 1900 block of Old Hickory Boulevard in the Old Hickory area, so just east of Madison. But we are hearing of some sustained minor damage, wind damage to the building. As far as what part of the school, that is of course still unknown, but we are told again from these multiple reports that the kids that were already there in school had to be evacuated and placed in the gym, as of course crews are now heading there, or at least are there already, to repair whatever the damage is from that. As far as injuries, so far we're not hearing of any there at DuPont Hadley Middle School. But keep in mind again, this morning Metro Schools did not cancel classes today, so of course that's why some of the kids are there right now. I mean, just going through social media alone, people are just questioning whether or not they have to drop their kids off or whether or not the buses will make it there at some point, worrying some for them whether or not their kids should even be in the gym. But of course, we have placed some calls and hoping to get some more information about this. We will have crews out on the ground heading there, as well as other parts of Middle Tennessee, where we are continuing to get several reports of damage again across Middle Tennessee. So DuPont Hadley Middle School, again, hearing reports of damage to that school to where kids had to be at the gym. As soon as we have more information, of course, we'll update that on air and online. Back to you guys up there.
Yeah, this will be the second weather event that Dr. Sean Joseph has been questioned whether or not the kids should go or stay home. So the last thing they want to deal with this morning. But then again, this rolled in just like that earlier storm did, rolled in awfully fast.
Which was winter weather last time.
Exactly.
So we're getting some more reports of damage throughout multiple mid-state counties.
Yeah, Williamson County hard hit, especially right there at the North Franklin, South Brentwood area, right there around Moores Lane, which is really the dividing line. And a bank is damaged after the storms ripped through. This is the northern part of Franklin, literally a stone's throw from the Brentwood city limits right there on Moores Lane. News Channel 5's Alexandra Cohen has been at that SunTrust Bank in that area all morning long, known as the Cool Springs area. And Alexandra, we understand one person was there as that roof came down in the drive-thru of that bank.
Steve, yeah, frantic moments for first responders here at SunTrust Bank. You can see this is all the damage that came from this area. Originally, a man actually pulled in where you see the green ATM sign because he said there was hail, there was a lot of wind, and he wanted to protect himself. So he pulled under here to take cover, and then this roof collapsed on top of his SUV. Now, firefighters were able to remove this part of the roof. This was the one that was on top of him. They moved that off his car, and he was able to back up, and he was okay. As you can see now, cleanup crews are trying to remove all of the damage that is left behind. The lights are hanging down. A lot of the wiring is also damaged, but it appears that some of these tellers are still here working. This is the SunTrust right off Mallory Lane. To give you guys some perspective here, I want to show you the building across the street. That's the Discount Tire. It has nothing, no damage. But when you come just here, it's terrible. It really is just not even a football field away that this happened here. And as you can see, there's about half a dozen guys working to clean up this mess. Also, they just got the Mallory Lane lights back working. When I pulled up here several hours ago, the lights were actually down. One of them was on the ground. Now it appears they do have them repaired. Again, if you are just tuning in, this is the SunTrust Bank right behind the Costco in Cool Springs. It was quite an eventful morning out here for first responders. I was driving down I-65 South. I saw street signs in trees. I saw trees pulled up from the ground. And then the worst damage I saw was here at the SunTrust Bank. I don't know if you guys can hear that through my mic or not, but we did just hear another rumble of thunder. Some lightning west of us I've also seen here as well. Obviously, if you are able to stay home and stay out of this mess, make sure you do just that. Steve and Amy, back to you.
All right. Alexandra, thanks so much. I know that area very well down there.
Yes, I know you do. We've already had one email from a couple that was trying to get to the bank this morning, and it couldn't, obviously, because of the damage.
Right.
Let's get right now to Lieutenant Charlie Warner. He's with Franklin PD. Joins us on the phone. Good morning, Charlie.
Hey, good morning, guys.
What are you seeing down there, Lieutenant?
Well, you know, the Cool Springs seems to be the area that was hit the hardest. We've got 6 locations that are impacted by trees that are down on the roadway. We've got some power lines down in various areas. And the most current report is that we've got about 208 people in Franklin without power, which is a pretty low number considering the damage that we saw come through. We've got some homes and buildings that sustained structural damage like you guys were just talking about out in the Cool Springs area. The early report that came in on that is that part of that building came down on an occupied vehicle. There was an officer there that was actually calling that out. EMS and the fire department responded, and that person was uninjured. And actually, we've had no injuries at all from any of the damage that's been reported across the area, which is pretty miraculous. We've got debris and traffic signals that are down all across the Cool Springs area. Some roadways are completely impassable, and they're being blocked by emergency vehicles.
We were hearing about Spencer Creek, again, back over closer to the downtown Franklin area. They had some trees across Spencer Creek. Is that still an area of concern as well as far as the tree limbs down?
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of areas over along that Hillsborough Road and Mac Hatcher corridor areas that are still impacted by trees that are down. I'm not in front of the current situation board at the moment, so I don't know if that roadway has been reopened yet. But what we are seeing is that, you know, we've got multiple departments from across the city that are going out trying to clear these roadways. Keep in mind, we've got a lot of traffic signals that have been damaged, knocked over, or blown away. And so people are going to have to use caution when they get out and around. And really the best advice is if you don't have to be anywhere, don't go. And definitely don't go sightseeing, because what that'll do is impact the traffic problem even more. With traffic lights down, that's going to cause more gridlock, and really it makes it harder for us and others that are trying to get the roadways reopened to be able to get around the city.
Lieutenant Warner, thank you. That's all our time for now. We appreciate that update. We've been concerned about that Franklin Cool Springs area, so we appreciate you.
Yeah, Lieutenant Warner, appreciate that. And yeah, Cool Springs really hit hard. A lot of viewers have been sending us things. We put it on our personal, on our professional Facebook pages as well. There's some damage over in Macon County at the DT McCall's as well. So we appreciate those viewers sending those pictures in.
And a child injured that we've had reports
Raleigh
of in Clarksville.
Road, Clarksville. A tree fell on a mobile home and injured a child. We've got the warning now for Cumberland County, Fentress County, Pickett County here for another few minutes here. Also, we're talking about down around Concord Road. Kelly was talking to her husband not too far from the house and says a lot of trees are down in that area right now.
He said that he would not be surprised if it gets ruled a tornado in that area, that the trees, there's just so many down, so widespread. Could be straight line winds with trees. It really takes an expert to say, but the damage is widespread down there into the Brentwood, down to Cool Springs area with that SunTrust Bank, but also as it leads on into the Nolensville area. Pretty significant, and they'll be investigating that today.
Yeah, our friends from the Weather Service have already announced that they're going to go out this afternoon and start to investigate for tornado damage.
Yeah, and stay off the roads.
Yeah, they're getting a little better out there. Not too much traffic, but there are still some crashes. And I think the biggest issue is going to be, like Charlie said, don't go sightseeing. We've got everything on social media if you want to see the damage.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
All right.
Kyan, of course, is here to help us out with this today. He does our manovers.
Yes.
So, Kyan, tell everybody how this got started. Why we want to do this as a segment.
Well, there's this bar in Brooklyn. I mean, if it starts with a bar in Brooklyn, it's a good situation. There's this bar in Brooklyn called Booby Trap, and they will give you a bottle of booze if you will go in and cut off your man bun, and then they, like, nail it to the wall.